apparently there are negotiations going on for a fight between unbeaten heavyweight contender Deontay Wilder and fellow heavyweight contender Malik Scott. Now, for those of you who don't know Malik Scott, he was defeated by Derek Chisora last year. I believe it was 8th round KO or something like that. Malik Scott is a very slick fighter. He moves well. He's got quick hands. Very well schooled. Pretty good defense. Like I say, quite a slick fighter. Deontay Wilder is a power puncher. Very tall, 6'7". I believe Malik Scott's probably around 6'4". And like I say, Wilder's like 6'7". He's got a huge right hand. He's been knocking everyone out. He's like 30 or 31-0 now with 30 or 31 KOs. So it's an interesting fight. Merely for the fact that Wilder's really never fought anyone yet. And this would be by far the best opponent that Deontay Wilder's faced so far in Malik Scott, if the fight goes ahead. Now, this fight has been touted as being on March 15th on the undercard of Danny Garcia's next fight. His defense, his defense of his WBC and WBA junior welterweight titles. So this could be the chief support for that, Deontay Wilder, Malik Scott. Let me know how you guys feel about this potential fight. A lot of people are saying that, well, Malik Scott don't have any kind of punching power, so he's unlikely to be able to test Deontay Wilder's chin. Well, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. These are heavyweights, people. Malik Scott is 220 pounds plus in most of his fights. And he's athletic and he knows how to punch, he's got good technique. If he catches Deontay Wilder clean, I'm pretty sure he can hurt him. These are heavyweights. As I've mentioned numerous times before, when it comes to punching power, KO percentages, KO ratios can be very misleading. They don't normally tell the full picture or the full story of how hard or, soft the guy's punches are. And I think when it comes to Malik Scott, he's a guy who fights so defensively. It's very rare that you see him throw a punch with full power. He's normally more interested in hitting and not getting hit rather than setting his feet and throwing a bomb at you. But I think there was moments in the Derek Chisora fight, for example, where I think he did sting Derek Chisora a few times in that fight. And especially in the early and mid rounds, Chisora wasn't really willing to launch an all-out assault. He wasn't really willing to take massive risks. And yes, it was his fight back after, was it his second fight back after the David Haye loss? Nonetheless, the Haye loss may have been in his mind. But if Malik Scott is so feather-fisted, then Chisora would have just swarmed all over him from the opening bell and not worried about anything that was coming back. But he didn't. He actually got hit with a few shots and he covered up a bit tighter next time he came in. So I don't necessarily think that. And, the same in the Glasgow fight. If you saw Scott against Glasgow, he kept Glasgow honest with some of them shots. So I'm not necessarily convinced that he's feather-fisted or anything like that. I think he does have, as most heavyweights do, a decent amount of pop. And if he catches Wilder right, I think he can hurt him. And he's certainly the most skillful fighter that Wilder will have faced so far. So it's definitely not the step up for Deontay Wilder that I'd like to see. I'd like to really see him step up and face a top 10 guy. I'd like to see him step up and face someone that can punch back, with serious intent. I mean, Malik Scott may have more power than his record suggests. Maybe he don't, but he's not the kind of guy who's going to go out there and try and take your head off. That's not who Malik Scott is. But I'd like to see Wilder face someone like that. Someone in the top 10 who's willing to come out and really put it on him. So, yeah, Scott is not the ideal opponent for Wilder, but it is a step up. And it will be interesting to see how he deals with that kind of slick style. So drop your comments below. Let me know how you feel about this fight. Would you like to see it? If there are other opponents out there that you'd like to see Wilder fight instead, drop some names below. Who would you like to see him fight? Now, we know that Arreola and Stiverne are fighting a rematch. So on the American scene, there's a few guys out there. Tony Thompson, Andy Ruiz Jr., Bryant Jennings, he's another guy. There's a few guys out there in the American scene who could potentially fight Deontay Wilder. So if you know anyone else, or if you like any of the guys on the list as potential opponents for Wilder, leave your comments in the comment section below and let me know. Yeah, this is Hatman, I'm out.